You can't go out in that.
But I have to.
You'd better wait inside until it lets up at least a little.
I was so sure that I'd have the time to get down here and make it back.
Well, perhaps it'll let up soon.
I don't think so. It's not that kind of a storm.
Well, you can't go out in it now. That's impossible.
But I've got to get back.
Well, if you're afraid that they'll worry, I'll send Willie over to let them know that you're all right.
Oh, no. No one should go out in a storm like that. Well, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to stay here for a little while. I'm very sorry.
Forgive me if I'm delighted.
You are kind.
Have you ever been in this house during a storm?
One like this.
This house was built for storms.
What do you mean?
This room is never more beautiful than when it's lit by lightning. Look there. And the thunder echoing down the corridors.
Yes, I see.
It was for nights like this that this house was built.
I think I know what you mean.
Do you?
Yes. But what am I going to do if this storm doesn't stop?
You wait here, and I'll do my best to entertain you.
But I don't think you understand. I think this storm is going to last all night.
Well, if my company wearies you, you can always rest a while. Don't forget, Josette's room is ready at all times.
Yes, of course. Josette's room. Would you mind if I did stay in Josette's room?
Of course not.
Somehow the idea of spending the night in her room appeals to me.
Why?
I don't know. I've always felt a closeness to her.
I wonder why you do.
Well, I suppose it's because I don't know who my ancestors were. And I've always liked to imagine that she was one of them. I suppose that sounds very foolish to you.
Not at all. It's very easy for me to believe that you are descended from Josette.
Why do you say that?
Well, because you're so much like her in so many ways. Well, not only because of your beauty, but because of your intelligence, your warmth, your generosity.
You're very flattering.
Only truthful.
Sometimes when you talk about Josette, it's as if you know her.
I know a great deal about her. I've taken the trouble to find out all I can, because among my ancestors, I have always found Josette to be the most fascinating.
Then may I ask you one thing, Mr. Collins?
Barnabas, please.
Barnabas.
What is it?
Once long ago, you told me about her death, how she threw herself from Widow's Hill.
Yes, I've always considered it the saddest of the family legends.
You described how she ran to the cliffs. Ran because someone was chasing her.
Yes?
Who was chasing her?
Her lover. The man who loved her more than anyone else in the world.
Do you know who he was?
Yes?
Who?
Jeremiah Collins.
Her husband?
Yes.
Her husband was chasing her?
According to the legend, yes.
But then he must have done something to frighten her, to make her feel so desperate.
Perhaps he did, intentionally or unintentionally.
But I thought he loved her.
The man who ran after Josette Collins that stormy night long ago loved her more than life itself.
And yet he was responsible for her death.
Well, he never intended for her to die, only to live.
I don't understand the kind of love that ends in death and destruction.
Perhaps Josette never understood him, or the extent of his love.
Well, I don't understand a love like that. If he loved her, well, then he wouldn't have frightened her.
Perhaps. But I can't defend everything he did. Nor could he.
Well, if you don't mind, I am a little tired. I think I'll go upstairs now.
Of course. Vicky,
Yes?
I...
What is it?
Well, the storm seems to have lessened somewhat.
Well, do you think so?
I'm not sure.
Do you think I could make it back to Collinwood?
Possibly. I'd be delighted to accompany you if you wanted to go back. I leave it entirely in your hands.
Well, it sounds worse than ever to me.
Then you'd prefer to stay?
I think so. If it would be no inconvenience to you.
Of course it would be no inconvenience.
I appreciate your hospitality.
Of course.
I'm sure that no one at Collinwood will miss me, so it's perfectly all right for me to stay here, I think, isn't it?
Yes. I hope you find everything you need.
I'm sure that I will.
Good night.
Good night.
Willie, what are you doing up?
Well, I heard the storm. I thought I'd better check to see if everything's all right.
Well, everything is fine. I'll see that the doors and the windows are secure.
Barnabas,
What is it?
has anybody been in the house tonight?
Why do you ask?
Because of something I found.
What?
This.
This wall?
Yeah. It looks like it belongs to a kid, but I'm pretty sure no kid could have gotten into the house. Every door and window was locked all day long.
Oh, where did you find it?
In the basement, near the coffin.
The coffin? Willie, if you let young David sneak in here during the day...
There's no way he could have, Barnabas, I swear to you. The house has been locked up, tight as a drum all day long.
Then where did this come from?
I don't know, Barnabas.
David had gotten into the house and gotten to that coffin. We would have heard about it by now.
Well, of course, he isn't the only kid who hangs around here.
What do you mean?
There's that little girl.
Little girl?
The one I told you about, the one who plays around here. But I don't see how she could have gotten in here either.
How old was that girl?
9, 10.
9, 10.
You know, it's funny. Maggie Evans, talked about seeing a little girl. I thought she was crazy.
She was.
Hey, maybe that ball was down there all the time and we never noticed it before.
Possibly. But I better go and take a look in the basement just the same.
Well, you want me to come with you?
No. I'll go alone. You stay here.
Well, what do you expect to find?
Nothing, but I'd better look anyway.
Barnabas?
What?
I keep having the strangest feeling.
What are you talking about?
I keep having a feeling that there's someone else in this house besides us.
Wait here.